Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rich Longo, Flycast Partners. I'd like to thank you for joining us for another one of our webcasts. Today's topic, the new age of ITSM technology, is being presented by both myself and Joy Sue of Freshworks. At this point, I'm sure most of you already know who I am, so let me take a moment to introduce Joy. Joy is a Senior Director of Product Marketing at Freshworks and has almost 20 years in IT and technology space. She has held positions at both Intel, Intuit, and most recently BMC Software. Joy has been instrumental in creating customer understanding of various tools available to them today. She can present real-world scenarios for tool utilization that make sense to any organization. Before we get started, Joy, let me introduce Flycast Partners. Flycast Partners offers best-in-class implementation services and training in IT service management, IT asset management, IT operations management, IT security, enterprise service management, and workload automation spaces, all using ITIL best practices. Our professional services team has well over 5,600 professional services engagements, both on-site and remote. And yes, remote has been particularly important during this pandemic time. And as an company, Flycast Partners has over 1,200 regular customers all throughout Canada and the United States. I encourage you to reach out to us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278, or visit our website and chat with our IT expert live Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. They're there for you to get you those white papers, those data sheets, set up demos, or ask any question that you feel that you need to know or just want to chat with them. They're happy just to chat as well. So if chatting with them or calling us isn't your thing, you can also email us at info@flycastpartners.com. Before Joy and I start our presentation today, let's take a few moments to hear from Brad Christ, Associate VP for IT and Chief Information Officer from Eastern Washington University. He's going to take some time to talk to us about their experience with the Freshservice tool.
The first time, we tried Freshservice, I turned it over to my help desk staff and a web developer, and they had already skinned it, 4 hours later. So they already had made it look like our website within just a couple of hours. And so, when I told and asked for feedback, the response was immediate. Everybody liked Freshservice the best. And so that's when we entered negotiations, and that's when we ended up purchasing it. And we were actually able to turn our trial right into our production instance. And, we were able to, within a month, working with professional services, get our old information out of web help desk, get the current incidents that we had in ServiceNow, get all of that information over. My staff had asked that we preserve that history. So we worked with professional services for Freshservice to move that information over. They helped us transfer what knowledge base articles we did have, and then helped us configure the platform. For instance, it was the first time that we were going to be able to employ our SLA and other features that we knew were important. And again, that speaks to why we wanted a full ITSM product, even if we weren't necessarily ready for every piece of it. But we had it and ready to go. And so, really it was Friday, we're shutting down ServiceNow. Monday, we're going to be coming up with Freshservice, and the professional services staff were able to move over any current incidents and then backfill over the next couple of weeks, the historical tickets, which worked really actually very well. So, what challenges did this solve for us? Obviously, it got us onto a single platform, which was very important. Supported all devices. In the past, using some of these help desk products they were using, it only ran on Windows. We support both platforms here in higher education. We're a 60-40 split. We have to be able to support Macs, and that means that we need to be able to access our help desk system from a Mac as well. And of course, we want these things to run in a web browser because that's how things work now. And so that was actually refreshing, as well as, hey, there's a mobile app. So when folks are around campus, they can go ahead and use their iOS device. You can use their cell phone or off campus in order to answer these tickets. And so that was very helpful. And so, it really also helped us to expand the reach. So, we were able to start shifting people from email-based support in terms of, I know this person on the help desk, so that's the person I'm always going to email directly, rather than going through our help desk system. It made it super easy as well, since we could forward emails. So, sometimes you're just not going to prevent that behavior. They're going to have a great experience with somebody on the help desk, and they're going to want to email them, regardless of whatever you tell them. We just know that's how the way it works, which is fine. It's just, we just have to accept it as it is. And so then they can just forward it into Freshservice, and then it creates a ticket automatically for that individual. Or, somebody always wants to go to the top, right? They always want to go to the CIO. So they'll email me about it, and I can just forward it right into the help desk, make sure that it gets assigned to the right person. So, I'm not dealing with, I'm not providing support for my email. We can do that from the help desk. In terms of client reception, people noticed it immediately. I got a number of compliments, right away, which is, oh, this is so much easier to use, and I'll actually use it. So that was also an opportunity for us to start building out our knowledge base in our portal, and our portal is public. So we allow, the number of accounts that we have in our help desk is like 100,000 in terms of requesters, both historical as well as, we get faculty and staff and students who email us from not only their work email, but then their personal email, or from prospective students. And sometimes, because it is public, we get inquiries from people. We had a student who contacted us and was asking for assistance, and, we started diving into it, and then we discovered that he was a student in Poland. So we're like, well, we're happy to answer a question or two for you, but ultimately we can't fix your account issue. You're going to have to talk to your own university for it. So this happens more than you might think. But we're a university, we serve the public, we want to be assistant, we want to help. But, I already mentioned, SLA timing. So we were able to set up escalation so that we made sure that issues were, if they were not meeting our needs, we could not only measure that, but now, we can make sure that they get escalated appropriately to a supervisor or manager, or even to myself if necessary. But then we also, other challenges were things like workflow, the service catalog, project management, and the project management, was it's getting upgraded in a couple of weeks for us as Freshservice is adding new things. But it was what we needed in terms of kind of IT projects, because it didn't have kind of the overhead associated with something like Microsoft Project, but it was good enough for IT folks. And so for system administrators and other folks, something like Microsoft Project gets very overwhelming. It often is more work than actually doing the project itself. But we do want to have that kind of visibility. And so that was kind of, a good compromise in terms of, oh, hey, this is pretty easy. It's built into the help desk system. You can assign yourself tasks. We can keep track of it that way. But it's not so overwhelming that you don't want to use it. So in the same way that we had issues with people opting out and not even using the help desk system, we wanted people to use those features. And so that was the nice thing about Freshservice in terms of it wasn't so complex. And so that we could implement, workflows, that we could use the supervisor, which is kind of more or less, in Freshservice terms, it's cron. So we can cron jobs in the system, and it's super easy to manage. I didn't have to dedicate an individual to be managing the help desk. We just don't have that. And so, I've gotten other reference calls from folks who are interested in Freshservice, and, sometimes coming from ServiceNow or from other types of applications that are similar that have that overhead. And they always ask, well, how many people do you have assigned? I said, well, we don't really have anybody assigned. That was one of the reasons we chose, and the benefits of the platform, that these things can be delegated to more folks because, one, you can't really break it. And two, it's much easier to configure. So you can do sophisticated things in workflow, but it's also really easy to do something pretty simple. Like we wanted to send out a message, for instance, when we're closed. So really super easy. It took us 5 minutes to set up that workflow, just to set up. And so when somebody sends us before we're open or after we're open, we send them a little message and say, hey, not only did we receive your ticket, which of course is just built into the platform, but we follow it up with another email, which is, hey, we're currently closed. This is our business hours. And we'll take a look at it when you respond. So we've added something rather than just, so people are aware, and hopefully a little bit more personal touch rather than those, automatic acknowledgments that everybody gets and then that everybody immediately deletes. So in terms of, what we're doing, what's the future for us and how we're using Freshservice? Part of it is as we've been using it, there's been more interest from other departments. So, specific to higher education, we quickly brought on our institutional research. So kind of our reporting department. They're active participants. We work very closely with them. Very, very helpful to have them in the same help desk system. Issue comes in, we're able to assign it as appropriate or bring them into issues that end up involving them, particularly with reports. But we have other departments that express interest and utility. So we have academic advising. So they support and use a system that is software as a service. But they're starting to manage more in terms of security and who has access to what. And it's a system that we use essentially kind of a CRM. But for students who to provide academic advising and registration advice and help with them, and so they're getting more into the business of what we would have called IT in the past. So again, having them in the system, very helpful. And then the latest department to join us was our registrar's office, so records and registration. And this is about managing their workload. So they initially approached us and said, hey, we want to build something out that allows us to manage issues and takes care of and tracking and does reporting. Like, wait a minute, we don't need to invent something. Let's not reinvent the wheel. We have some additional licenses open at the moment. Why don't you come into our help desk system? It does all of that and more. And so we've been able to bring those folks in, and that will be a benefit to students because, of course, that's ultimately what we're trying to do here, which is improve service for faculty and especially students. The other pieces, that we're looking forward to are continuing to build out and use features like, we're finally building out our CMDB. So we've had some usage of it, but we're now using the discovery agent to kind of fix and overcome some shortcomings when it comes to System Center Configuration Manager and JAMP, where we were getting, some data that was good, some of the data was not very helpful. And so, it wasn't very clean on our side. So now we're able to clean that up and use, the inventory function and associate that with folks and start using it to check out devices and keep track of things like security keys. So we've implemented two-factor authentication for all of our faculty and staff. We want to track who has them as we hand them out. So we've been able to take advantage of those features that we otherwise hadn't been using since we began it. And we're looking forward to a couple of new great features, which is orchestration especially. So we're really interested in being able to, in some cases, automatically assign folks to Active Directory work groups. And so, we have a hybrid Azure AD environment, so we need that functionality. And we're really excited to be able to automatically add folks to groups. We've kind of already got some of those workflows built in terms of approvals and the group names. But at the moment, someone still has to go ahead and say, okay, well, now I need to add this person to this group, in ADUC or another Active Directory management tool. We're going to be able to employ orchestration in order to do that for us. And so it becomes, very much hands-off. We've undertaken a review of how we're doing things so that we can automate them as much as possible. So, they're not waiting on us any longer. And instead, once it's approved by the appropriate folks around campus, they just get that access. No intervention. They're not waiting on us. The other piece that we're excited about is the expanded project management. Our project managers will probably be able to use the tool now, whereas in the past, it was great for internal kind of projects, but not particularly well suited for in the same way to communicate information out to clients and or report on projects for a campus-wide audience. And so there's so many new features in the newest version that I think we're getting our instance upgraded next week, and we're very much looking forward. And folks my project folks have already undertaken a review and are very excited about it. So that's the story of how we ended up with Freshservice and how we've used it.
Okay, so before we get started, let's talk a little bit about and take a look at Freshworks at a glance. Freshworks, an intelligent customer engagement company with software that helps you win customers for life. With 50,000 customers like you who Freshworks day in and day out, and they've been growing at 40% year over year, crossing over 300 million in ARR. What that means is we're at a size that can serve customers regardless of scale, wherever they are across the globe. Now, while they started in the SMB market, as the products have evolved, they're increasingly serving the mid-market enterprise segments, which now makes up in over 50% of their ongoing business.
Thank you so much, Rich. And what we try to do here at Freshservice and Freshworks really is to create and delight our customers by providing this amazing employee and customer experiences. Freshworks as a company was born out of a bad customer experience. Our CEO and founder was shipping a LCD screen back during a relocation move, and he had a really bad experience with customer service agents. And from then on, a light bulb went off, and he said, "You know what? We are going to create a company that really revolutionizes how we delight customers and eventually employees who are seeking to get some kind of service fulfilled."
So let's talk about key market drivers, right? Now let's think about what's going on in the marketplace today. Freshworks, they deliver solutions to serve the internal and external customers. Freshworks helps support employees, empowering to better serve their customers, increasing satisfaction, retention, and lifetime values. So it's intelligence, digital transformation, and agility in IT. And especially after we just finished with this pandemic year, the IT industry has had to turn on a dime to accommodate all of the remote workers, and there's been many changes in the way businesses have had to operate. And that's where intelligence is key as well, to help them increase those efficiencies with dealing with all the new situations that have been thrown at the IT departments out there.
And enter Freshservice, the right size service management solution for any company size that we're looking at. And Freshservice, the reason why we're working with all of you here at Flycast is we want to show you what the modern service management solution can look like that is intuitive, that is intelligent and extensible. We deliver this end-to-end consumer-grade employee experience that you can just adopt easily. We add an intelligence layer to everything that we do. So for something like a virtual agent, you could get started the same day without having to train a robot. And we're extensible. We have enterprise-grade integrations, and we have workflows that you can drag and drop, and it's built upon, an open and secure platform. And the way we work with our customers and the way we work with our partners like Flycast is we partner with all of you to ensure your success. There is never a customer and vendor relationship. It is a pure partnership to see you grow and see you succeed.
So Freshservice and the product itself and some of the value that you can get from Freshservice, they've achieved 300% ROI with a payback period of less than 3 months. That's impressive. So you get quick returns, you increase your efficiency, and you're going to have not only just the employees within IT, but your end users are going to be happy. They're going to be delighted by what you have provided them, the service that you've provided them.
And how do we do this, right? Of course, we focus on IT and we extend this all the way out to the different lines of business. We provide that all-around employee experience, whether you're in HR, finance, procurement, logistics, marketing. We aim to service all of their needs. And we build upon our platform, which is Freshworks Neo, that has APIs, SDKs, apps, and this multi-channel collaboration for emails, bots, collaboration tools, etc. And within Freshservice, we not only offer, the ITSM stack, which has asset management, change management, incident management, what you think of as traditional ITIL, but we modernize it. We also have digital operations, what you probably think of as ITOM, which includes things like alert management, on-call scheduling, orchestration. We also have project management built into the product so that you can be agile as you think about all the projects you have within the IT portfolio. And we also have service management that has a lot more self-service and service catalogs built in to the product. And of course, all of this sits on our workflows, automations, our amazing knowledge management module, and our CMDB, as well as a unified service catalog.
So let's talk about some of the advantages that Freshservice has over a lot of the competition. First thing, quick implementation out of the box, right out the gate. It's easy to get set up. It's easy to implement and get running. Transparent pricing. Right out, some of these other folks out there, without naming names, there's hidden costs there. You have to have developers to help out with this or that, or additional labor costs are added. Additional time is needed to roll some things out. Whereas you don't have these things to deal with when you have Freshservice as your tool. Seamless upgrades. I mean, you can upgrade it to next version or whatever you need without having to take days or a long period of time or need an additional implementation to do it. It's as easy as a click of a button in most cases. Then you go fast time to value. Well, we've already talked about the return on investment. As soon as you set this tool up, you're already starting to save money. You're already starting to become more efficient. And it's important to make sure that you have the right sized offering. When I look at the names that we have on the screen right now, that's not always the case with some of the tools that are provided by a lot of the competition out there. A lot of times you end up with a tool that can be a little, bulky for your needs, or maybe it doesn't quite meet your business model as to what you're doing. Whereas Freshservice, you can use this in any industry, any vertical. It can conform to whatever your needs are, and you only have to purchase or have what you need for your organization, and you don't get stuck in some tool that has its tentacles all throughout your company, and it's hard to keep track of.
Freshservice is also recognized by analysts and the industry. We've been a part of Gartner's Magic Quadrant 2 years running, and just this past year in 2020, we achieved the highest percentage of growth for any vendor on the Magic Quadrant. We are part of 2 Forrester waves, both the ESM waves and the chatbots for IT. And most recently, we were a strong performer on the chatbot wave, outperforming some of the competitors you saw on a previous slide. CIO Review Magazine also touts us as the most inspirational and one to look out for in the IT service management world.
So PowerSchool used Freshservice to boost their SLA compliance from 65% to over 90%. Plus, they were able to handle 3 times the ticket volume. They increased from 600 to 1,800 without increasing their headcount. So let's take a look at, those numbers are huge. You're increasing your efficiency, you're increasing productivity, and your customer outages are going down. The satisfaction, being able to meet those SLA times, these are all important things when you're considering a new ITSM tool. And this tool, it delivers, and it's something that you need to take a look at. PowerSchool, that's a perfect example of what Freshservice can do for an organization.
And with that, I'd like to thank all of you for being here today with both Rich and myself. Again, we're so excited to be working with Flycast partners. Love to turn it over to Rich for him to share what he can do with us, all of us as partners.
Thank you, Joy. Folks, thank you for joining us for today's presentation. Should you like to see a demo or want some additional information, please reach out to us at 844-FLYCAST. That's 844-359-2278. Or you can chat with us on our website, as I stated earlier in the presentation. We're manning that Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. And our experts are able to get you the data sheets and white papers you may be seeking, answer basic questions for you, or get you synced up with the right person to take a look at what your IT service management environment is and see what we can do to help improve your life in IT today. With that being said, thanks again, Joy, for helping me present today. And folks, until our next presentation, stay safe.